Dr. Mara had survived 3 galactic wars, negotiated peace treaties with species that communicated through bioluminescent pulses, and once jury-rigged a failing life support system using nothing but duct tape and a prayer. But nothing, absolutely nothing, had prepared her for this moment. She had only wanted 5 minutes. Just 5 precious minutes of rest in the observation room of the Zenthari Predator Sanctuary. The mission briefing had been clear. Conduct behavioral assessments of the juvenile Zenthari, establish baseline socialization metrics, and whatever she did, maintain professional distance. The Zenthari were apex predators from a death world where even the plants had developed defense mechanisms that could liquefy organic matter. The cubs, however, had not read the mission briefing. Mara had made the fatal mistake of lying down on the observation platform's padded bench. The Zenthari facility was climate-controlled to their homeworld specifications, warm, humid, with just enough weight in the air to make a human drowsy. She'd told herself it would just be a moment. Close her eyes, breathe, recalibrate. That's when Tavi struck the smallest of the though small was relative when dealing with creatures that would eventually grow to the size of Earth's extinct saber-toothed. Tigers had been watching her with those unsettling triple-pupilled eyes. Mara had documented this behavior before. The Zenthari cubs were intensely curious about the soft skin who moved among them without fear. Tavi approached with the silent grace that made adult Zenthari such efficient hunters. One moment, Mara was drifting into that pleasant space between wakefulness and sleep. The next, 40 pounds of scaled, warm, purring predator landed squarely on her chest. Her eyes snapped open to find Tavi's face inches from hers, the cub's throat rumbling with what the xenobiologists had classified as a contentment vocalization. It sounded like rocks, tumbling in a cement mixer, and felt like a massage chair set to aggressive. "Tavi," Mara whispered, trying to maintain the calm, authoritative tone the training modules recommended.
"Down, off, please." Tavi's response was to circle twice.
Neighed her chest with paws tipped with retractable claws, currently, thankfully, retracted, and settle into a loaf position directly over her sternum. That's when the others noticed. The Zenthari cubs operated on a collective consciousness that scientists were still trying to understand. One moment, they'd been scattered across the habitat, playing their violent games of hunt and pounce. The next, every single one of them had locked onto the same target, the human who had become a warm, soft, apparently inviting sleeping surface. Kiva came next, the second largest cub, launching herself onto Mara's legs with the precision of a heat-seeking missile. Then Rax flopping across her midsection. Jorah claimed her left arm. Zeph took the right. Within 30 seconds, Dr. Mara was buried beneath a living blanket of scaled, purring, increasingly heavy predator cubs. She couldn't move. Literally. The combined weight had pinned her completely, and every time she tried to shift, another cub would adjust, finding a new, comfortable spot that further restricted her mobility. Her arms were trapped. Her legs had gone from slightly compressed to definitely losing circulation. Even her head was bracketed by Tavi on one side and a newcomer Sora on the other. The worst part? They were all purring. The sound was deafening at close range, a chorus of rumbling growls that vibrated through her entire body. Mara's ribs resonated with it. Her teeth buzzed. Somewhere in the back of her mind, she knew this was unprecedented data. The Zenthari cubs had never displayed this level of trust and affection with any other species. This was the kind of breakthrough that would make her career, guarantee funding for the next decade of research, possibly even earn her a nomination for the Interspecies Relations Prize. All she had to do was survive it. "Computer," she managed to gasp, her voice barely audible over the purring. "Recording." A chime acknowledged her command. Good. At least if she suffocated under a pile of alien predator cubs, there would be documentation. Tavi chose that moment to stretch, extending her full length across Mara's chest and pushing her face directly into the human's neck. The cub's breath was warm and smelled vaguely of the synthetic meat supplements they were fed. Up close, Mara could see the intricate patterns of scales that would darken as Tavi matured. The 3 pupils in each eye that gave Zenthari their famous depth perception. The tiny serrations on teeth that would eventually grow into weapons capable of shearing through hull plating. Right now, though, Tavi was just a baby. A very heavy, very affectionate baby who had decided that Dr. Mara was the best napping spot in the entire facility. The observation room door hissed open. Mara couldn't turn her head. Sora had claimed that real estate. But she heard the familiar footsteps of Dr. Yenish, the facility's Zenthari director. There was a long pause. Then a sound that Mara had never heard before, a Zenthari laughing. It was a clicking, chittering noise that made all the cubs' ears swivel toward the door. Dr. Mara, Yenish's translator, rendered his words in perfect standard. "I see you've made progress with the socialization protocols." "Can't breathe," Mara wheezed. "Yes, this is a known behavior. Cubs pile for warmth and security, usually with their mothers. That they've chosen you is—" Yenish paused, and Mara could imagine him tilting his massive head in that characteristic gesture of confusion. "Unprecedented. And slightly alarming. For you, specifically. Help? Of course. Though I should mention, this video feed has already been shared with the Galactic Xenobiology Network. You're currently trending across 47 systems. The consensus translation of the dominant response is, humans will befriend anything." Despite the crushing weight, despite the circulation loss, despite the very real concern that she might actually be stuck here until the cubs got hungry, Mara felt herself smile. Humanity's reputation for befriending the universe's most dangerous creatures had just gained another data point. And honestly, buried beneath a pile of purring predator cubs who trusted her enough to sleep on her, she could think of worse ways to make history, even if she couldn't move.